Today's video is on Roadmap to Speech Therapy, a simple guide for parents. For parents who don't know where to start and what and all to be covered as part of speech, this roadmap might help. This roadmap content was initially created by someone called Mr. Praveen, and it was circulated in the WhatsApp. Some of the parents had asked for clarity, so I thought I'll put it in today's video. Before starting the roadmap, just a note on the screen time video which I had shared yesterday. A couple of moms felt guilty after seeing that video. So I just want to tell them screen time is something that we as a parent would not have shown to the child had we known that it will impact their socialization and communication skills. So something which we did without our knowledge is not our fault, but we can easily overcome with proper speech therapists. So don't worry about that. Some critical resources that you can use to help your child with communication. So there is something called Hanen program which uses this book called More Than Words. This will definitely help your child with respect to communication and speech and making a whole sentence to talk. So I would suggest all parents to go through this program or the book so that you can help your child with communication and speech. So both verbal and non-verbal child can be benefited from this program and this book. So try to find someone who can give this Hanen program either online or in person. It's for the parents. And if you have the book, you can order it from Amazon and use it. Play skills and interaction are very much important for speech. So start working on that right away, irrespective of what stage of communication your child is, verbal or non-verbal. Just work on play skills and interaction. So interaction can be without words also. There should be two and back-to-back communication going on between you and the child, irrespective of whether the child uses words or not. Both Hanen program and the More Than Words book will help you on that. So coming to the roadmap, first point is communication. Even if the child uses single word, that has to be taught her how to use that word to communicate with you. So start teaching communication. And then under communication, we have finger pointing. Finger pointing is not something child does when you ask a question. Instead, the child has to initiate from her end and then show something and point and do the finger pointing. And then yes and no gestures using the body movements and just not the words. Next comes the toy play and people play. So toy play, I have a video, look into that. People play is something which you play without any toys like Ringa Ringa Roses or any other games. So later stages of the plays are pretend play and role play. All of these different types of play are covered in Hanen program. Next important point is helping your child initiate a talk and you not taking the lead. I missed the note here. So you should not take the lead. You should not ask a question. You should not give instructions. You should not comment. So the child should take the initiation and then communicate with you. So I have a video also on that. Both More Than Words and Hanen program will help you how to make your child initiate a conversation. So the next important skill is book reading to your child. So definitely you have to start with book reading to your child. I have some information which you can use to introduce a book to the child. So I put all these points as number one because they all are equally important. Next, improvement in receptive language, identifying the things, finding the things, matching the things, showing the things and sorting the things. So all this has to be done from their end. They have to take the initiation and then they have to do. So for that you have to model them what they have to do. Like you have to point your picture, you have to show the things, you have to sort the things in front of them. By that way they will improve the receptive language. Next important point is joint attention and eye contact. Joint attention is something where child is sharing something with you without any purpose. For example, on the road, she sees a baby crying, so she looks at you and then at the baby and points to the baby and says, baby crying. So that's called joint attention. Child is sharing something for no purpose. When you give a new toy to a baby, the baby smiles and looks at the mummy and then looks back at the toy. So that's called joint attention. Next, imitation of sounds or oral motor movements like blowing, looking at the facial expressions when making sounds, imitation of familiar sounds, approximation of joining sounds. So all these imitation skills are being taught in that More Than Words book. So Once they start imitating your single word, they will start imitating all other sounds also. So start working on joining the sounds they speak, like ba, and imitating what you speak. And all these will happen only when you stop questioning. So if you stop a verbal demand, the child will start looking at you and try to make those sounds and words which you are doing. Clarity in sounds, imitation of words. So some child will not have clarity initially, but they will have the clarity later. So if they are not getting the clarity, seek a proper oral therapist who will give oral exercise to sort out this issue. Imitation of words, as I said earlier, so it starts with imitation of sounds and then imitation of words will happen. So start working on the imitation skills as well. Next, responding to pictures with word sounds. So when you show a picture, the child should be able to point and say the word. For that, you have to point and say the picture in front of her. And you should not ask her, can you point to the picture and say what it is. So don't ask the verbal question. Instead, teach her, you point and say. Gradually, she will start pointing and say by herself. Next, responding to questions like what is your name or what is this. So when you teach this, again, don't question her directly. So you should have 3 players in this activity. You should be asking this question to another person, what is your name? And that person should say, my name is this. So the child should be noticing this one. So model what that person has to answer. So the child sits and you sit opposite to her and another person sits next to you. First you ask this question, what is your name, to the person. The person says the answer. And then you ask the child. So instead of asking child to say, someone has to model the child and say, my name is the child's name. So this is how you teach what questions. After teaching what question, you have to make them ask what questions to you. So I'll make a separate video on how to teach what and how to ask them what question. Next, repeating familiar words like mom, dad, ball, etc. And kind of echoing all the sounds heard to explore the new speech skills. So Echolalia is something as a good skill. It shows that there is a positive movement towards speech for the child. So you should encourage Echolalia and you can use that skill to teach more words for the child. Next is start learning alphabets, colors, fruits, vegetables, food items, vehicles, and all the things which are around the child, which the child should know. So again, point and teach, no questioning. Next is reading skills. There are a lot of jolly phonics videos in YouTube. You can use that to teach reading skills to your child. I'll put all separate videos on this later. Next, language skills. Language skills are more important. So once they start making sentences and once they start imitating you, so the other language skills will come. Next is more important improvement depends on help from other sources like parents, teachers, and family members. So help her interact with other people whom she meets. Like when you leave from a place, you say bye on behalf of her. When you take her to the shop, you say uncle good morning in front of her. So you try to imitate what she needs to do, interpret what she needs to do. By that way she knows that if she goes to some place, she has to say hi. So make her interacting with other people by modeling that interaction when you go outside. Thank you and subscribe for daily updates. So for the book, you can email me. I can send you some resources through which you can get the book on a reasonable rate. If you have any other questions, you can put it in the comment. Thank you.